Protein hoarding is the latest muscle-obsessed, bicep-worshipping lifestyle trend that's somehow convinced your average desk-bound adult that unless they're eating like a professional linebacker, they're in danger of evaporating into dust. It's no longer about getting enough protein. It's about consuming every molecule of protein on Earth, one scoop of artificially flavored chalk at a time. At the heart of this trend is your gym buddy. You know the one. They show up to brunch with a full tub of whey protein in their backpack just in case. They refer to chicken breasts in terms of grams per square inch. They bring shaker bottles to weddings. To them, meals are no longer food, they're macros. It's not breakfast, it's a fueling window. And yes, they will put protein powder in their coffee, pancakes, overnight oats, Greek yogurt, smoothies, soup, cocktails, toothpaste, and anything else that can physically absorb powder without triggering a fire code violation. Where did this madness start? Somewhere between the rise of #Fitspo culture and the mass realization that protein is good for muscle growth, the logic became, if some is good, then more must be anabolic. Enter the era of 200 grams a day and people treating whey like it's holy water for hypertrophy. Forget food pyramids. These folks are constructing entire shrines to casein. Of course, there are real benefits to protein. It builds and repairs muscle, helps you feel full, and supports recovery after exercise. But let's not pretend this is about health. This is about domination. This is about turning your digestive tract into a loading dock for an endless stream of powder. Somewhere along the way, the goal became not eat well, but transform into a walking rotisserie chicken with Bluetooth headphones. The obsession has reached such absurd levels that we now have protein-fortified versions of everything. Protein cereal, protein donuts, protein water, protein chips, protein ice cream, protein breath mints probably. If it exists, someone has found a way to jam 20 grams of hydrolyzed whey into it and slap a muscular font on the packaging. And of course, each of these miracle products tastes like sadness rolled in Splenda. The warning signs are everywhere. Your protein-hoarding friend no longer eats dinner, he hits macros. His cupboard is 70% supplements, 30% regret. He can recite the amino acid profile of beef jerky, but hasn't had a vegetable since 2019. He thinks anything under 150 grams of protein is a cutting phase. And if he doesn't hit his daily goal, emotional collapse. Deep, spiraling shame. The kind of self-loathing typically reserved for missed workouts or dropping a dumbbell near a CrossFitter. And the worst part? They never stop talking about it. Ask them how they're doing and they'll say, bulking bro. Ask what they had for lunch and it's a monologue. 8 egg whites, half a turkey breast, a scoop of isolate, and some quinoa I didn't want but needed for fiber. Ask if they want dessert and they'll whip out a plastic container of brown sludge they made at home, proudly announcing it's a protein brownie. It is not a brownie. It's punishment. Let's not ignore the social toll either. Eating out with a protein hoarder is like dining with a wartime ration officer. They scan menus like CIA analysts, looking for signs of weakness. Is that salmon grilled or pan-fried? What's the protein-to-fat ratio? Is that hummus worth it, bro? Spontaneity dies. Fun dies. All joy must be run through the macro calculator before it is allowed in the mouth. And don't even get them started on clean bulking. This is the terrifying phase where they intentionally overeat massive amounts of lean protein in the hopes of gaining muscle mass while staying shredded. Translation: they are consuming the caloric equivalent of a rhino's daily intake, all while complaining that they can't seem to put on size. They are both eating constantly and hungry all the time, a contradiction made possible only by the emotional black hole that is gym culture. The kicker? For most people, all this extreme protein loading does very little beyond creating unnecessarily expensive pee. The average adult who isn't training for the Mr. Olympia competition simply doesn't need 200 grams of protein a day. You know what your body does with all that excess protein? It wastes it. That's right. All that carefully measured, vanilla sawdust-flavored powder ends up in the toilet. Your kidneys are just as exhausted as your friends are from hearing about your daily intake goals. So why do they do it? Because in the current fitness zeitgeist, protein is more than a nutrient, it's status. It's the edible version of a flex. Posting your meal prep containers filled with chicken and rice is the modern-day equivalent of peacocking. Protein is a lifestyle, a cult, a shaker-rattling call to arms in the battle against perceived weakness. But maybe, just maybe, your worth isn't determined by your protein-to-body weight ratio. Maybe you can eat a normal pancake. Maybe, once in a while, you don't have to track your lunch like it's a fugitive. Maybe your body will be just fine without a third scoop of whey before bed. Or maybe not. But until then, we'll be here, watching your gym buddy sprinkle unflavored whey into his gin and tonic, wondering how it came to this.